2 years after the October 7th massacre, Hamas has released a strategic document called Our Narrative, a long, structured text designed as an ideological weapon. Its objective is clear: to impose a narrative and embed it in the public consciousness. The first axis is the rewriting of history. Hamas refuses to describe October 7th as a terrorist attack. Instead, it refers to it as the Day of the Glorious Crossing, a heavily loaded expression intended to transform a terrorist assault that claimed the lives of more than 1,200 Israeli civilians into a founding epic. In Our Narrative, Hamas insists that October 7th was a rational, planned, almost inevitable act. But this narrative deliberately omits documented facts: attacks targeting civilians, massacres in kibbutzes, executions of entire families, hostage-taking, including of children and the elderly. Not a word, no acknowledgement, no responsibility. The method is a familiar one, turning the mass murder of civilians into a heroic act, creating a founding myth meant to be taught and passed on. Violence becomes legend. The second pillar is denial and blame reversal. The document claims that killing civilians is not part of Hamas's morality or religion. To explain the hundreds of Israeli victims, it adopts a conspiracy theory. According to this account, it was the Israeli army that killed its own citizens. The problem is that no independent international investigation supports this version. By contrast, the atrocities of October 7th have been documented through images, testimonies, and videos claimed by the attackers themselves. This passage reflects a well-known strategy: sow doubt, reverse blame, and flood the media space with unverifiable accusations in order to dilute responsibility. The third key message is the end of the distinction between civilians and combatants. Hamas highlights polling figures. 72% of Palestinians reportedly support the decision to launch the attack. 77% oppose the disarmament of Hamas. The goal is clear: to present violence as a collective will and position Hamas as the legitimate voice of an entire people. The fourth point, and perhaps the most concerning, is the post-Gaza vision. Hamas no longer limits its ambitions to the Gaza Strip. It claims a political right to govern all Palestinian territories, including the West Bank. In this narrative, the day after is neither demilitarization nor political transition, but a takeover of all Palestinian centers of power. Finally, the document declares a victory on the international stage. Hamas points to what it sees as Israel's increasing isolation, mounting international legal actions, and the weakening of Israel's narrative in global public opinion. According to Hamas, this represents a strategic success, one that, as the text implies, was achieved at the cost of blood. Our Narrative is not a defensive document. It is a text of ideological conquest, an explicit attempt to transform a massacre into a political victory and propaganda into historical truth.